Rachel with HP Latex. I want to walk you through an issue that I had recently that I resolved, and I want to show you how I resolved it. And the issue was related to print heads that were not printing at all. So I'll go through the steps here. You won't be able to see everything, so I'll have to describe some of it to you. But I think I can illustrate the nature of the problem. I can show you my process, and then explain how I arrived at what obviously is a successful conclusion. So I sent a job over, in this case to the 335, and the image was printing, except it didn't seem quite right. The colors were off. I couldn't quite see why, but it didn't appear to have banding per se, but it was almost as if something in the file went wrong. So then what I did is, just to check and make sure all the nozzles were firing, is I ran a print head check, which is the next print right here. And in the print head check, it's very clear that black ink is completely gone. I mean, it's not there. And it's not there in either of the two print heads. So you have, I'll try to roll this down as I explain it. So you have cyan here, but there's no black. And it's gone in both print heads. That's a little unusual. So the machine had sat for a while. I'd been on a bit of a extended road trip, and everything else was fine except the black just vanished. So thinking about the black being gone, I thought, well, maybe there's something wrong with the ink system, because usually if you would, if one of the print heads were bad, I would expect to see some of the cyan missing. But both the cyans are perfect. In fact, every other print head is perfect. Just the two blacks. And if one was missing, I might think, okay, that print head went out, the other one's fine. But to see both missing, I figured I would start with the ink system. So I took the black ink, and I said, remove the black ink, and then I put a new black ink in, and it made no difference. So as far as the ink container or the vacuum system connected to the ink, that did not seem to make any difference. And so then I figured, well, maybe it can't be a contact issue because the cyan would be missing too. What are the chances of both black print heads? And then I noticed that the maintenance cartridge was almost completely full. So I figured maybe it was something to do with the capping station, and the black capping station wasn't quite right, although that didn't quite make sense with the cyan still being there, but I replaced that anyway. Made no difference. It was only 3% left available, so I figured I would just give it a shot. So now I'm trying to figure out, why is black working? Now sometimes if a print head isn't working, or the printer's been sitting idle for an extended period of time, if the capping station didn't make full contact, maybe just running the printer will get everything back up and working. So I run a particular chart, and it looks like this. The chart is designed with pure hues turned on. I'm using Onyx for this. So I have all the pure hues turned on, and then I also have light inks. What I want to identify is, if I have a particular color out, I want to know which one, and then the next thing I'll isolate is which of the two print heads, if there are two print heads. If it's a light ink, there's only one print head, so obviously I only have one print head to remove or to address. And this is how bad it is. Every single color is perfect, except black doesn't exist. Like, it's gone. Both print heads. I've never seen this before. So I do a couple cleanings, I target the black, I clean it once, I clean it twice, and still I get nothing. So the next thing I do is, I'm about ready to replace the print heads, because I'm thinking that something went on and both the black print heads, black and cyan heads, the black side of it went out, even though the cyan side is perfect. That seems highly irregular, but I'll give it a go. But before I did, I took one of the black and cyan print heads out, I took a lint-free cloth. This lint-free cloth is what we normally use to clean UV printers. You can get it at a printer supply. And then I took this distilled water here. Took the print head out, and I soaked the cloth, cleaned around the outside, soaked it again and folded it, and then blotted it onto the print head. And since I'm at the point really where I think the print head is probably dead, I took a little of the distilled water, got it on the print head, and then kind of wiped it very gently across, making sure that I wasn't carrying anything from my prior cleanings across the print head. I then put that back into the printer, close the lid, and then it automatically starts running a print head alignment test. The first thing I notice is, voila, one of the blackheads is completely back, 100%. The other one is still gone, but the one that I just cleaned is 100% back. Huh, okay. So then what I did is, well, that tells me let's try it with the other one. So I took the other print head out, did exactly the same thing, and then it automatically runs a test again. And once again, now instead of one print head, now they're both back. Both blacks are there. The one down here, one is gone completely. This one here, both black print heads, both of the black sides of both print heads is working perfectly. So then I sent my test pattern again, and 100% perfect, solid, black. Everything's back. There's my cyan, there's my yellow, magenta, black, and then my light inks. I have two light inks because I'm not sure exactly at what percentage the light ink starts, so I did two different percentages. The purpose of this chart, which I use all the time, I keep it handy, is before I'm going to do a long run, or I'm going to do a big solid run or a big panel job or something, when I start the printer on Monday sometimes, if I've been away for a long time, if I have any question that everything on the printer isn't perfect, maybe I had a head strike, I will often send this chart. The chart is actually, each one of these is about 8 inches by 8 inches. And I have them in squares, and if I need to, I just send multiple copies. You can make your own in Illustrator. It's very easy. It is 100% cyan, 100% yellow, 100% magenta, 100% black. You get the idea. And those, I think I have them set for 25% and 15% respectively. Then when I have pure hues turned on in the RIP, when I send this file over, it is only going to use black ink to print black. It's only going to use yellow ink to print yellow. And that helps me diagnose if I think that I have nozzles missing or something may have gotten onto the print head or some unusual thing has happened, like in my case, black vanishes altogether. With the black vanishing, I now have the black up again. Now, I'm going to run the printer for a while and make sure everything is okay, but it appears, based on the testing that I've done, that the black ink had just simply... I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I don't have a logical answer. I'm going to reach out to our engineering team and ask, but clearly there was an advantage to take the print head, pull it out of the printer. I was going to toss it anyway, so this is a Hail Mary. I clean this completely, lint-free cloth, distilled water, not alcohol, clean this print head. I get all of my ink back again. Everything is running fine. There's no reason to toss the print heads. They only have about 2,500 milliliters through them, so they haven't had that much ink through them. They are past warranty, but there's no reason to toss them. For whatever reason, the black just got clogged up on them, and it's not firing, and I just did a manual type cleaning, and I just wanted to show you the results because it just happened to me, and I wanted to capture it and explain the process. I do run this chart pretty regularly. Anytime I think there's something missing, I run the chart. Now, if you see a bunch of this cyan missing or you have horizontal banding, then you know it's one of the two print heads, and that's when I run the print head diagnostic chart and try to isolate, you know, which of the two black and cyan print heads is most likely to be the trouble. You can also check in the embedded web server under the service tab, and it will show you, if you do all tests, it will show you the print head tests, and it will show you which nozzles are out. And sometimes it helps to identify which print head by identifying which one has the most nozzles out in a sequence. Now, the printer did tell me, by the way, when I sent the job over at the beginning, the image, it said, you have a printing problem. You have an image quality problem because the optical drop detector checked the print heads and said, Bub, you're missing a whole bunch of nozzles here. There's something really, really wrong, and we're going to flag it for you. Now, I could look at the print and see something was wrong. Obviously, when you send a solid color print, it's obvious that black has disappeared completely, but the printer did do its job. It did see that there was something wrong, because when it did the optical drop detection, it noticed that there was a whole ton of black missing. It threw me a warning notice. So the printer definitely did tell me, but just running this chart will also confirm whether you're good to go or whether you need to address the print heads. So I'm going to roughly title this Manual Print Head Cleaning, Lint-Free Cloth, Distilled Water. I do this. If the print head is very old and it were missing, then I would probably replace the print head. But you can always try to reclaim it as a last-ditch effort, and this probably only took me a half an hour total, including the alignment tests.